Private prosecution matter brought by former President Jacob Zuma against arms deal prosecutor advocate Billy Downer and journalist Karyn Maughan resumes in the High Court in Pietermaritzburg this morning. Zuma has accused the pair of leaking his medical records. The former president faces charges of corruption, money laundering and racketeering. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda and Ngcobo joined us live from Pietermaritzburg this morning. Ziyanda, good morning. Great to see you. Give us an update on where we are insofar as this case is concerned, because there has been so much back and forth.
Absolutely. I mean, so there's two processes that are currently underway. So last October, you'll recall that I was here for the first time that Billy Downer and Karyn Maughan were in the dock, and at the same time, both of them brought then an urgent application to have the private prosecution brought by former President Jacob Zuma struck off the court's roll. The matter was then postponed to the 8th and 9th of December, and that matter was heard and then postponed to March 2023. So we're expecting that today, because of the push to have the summons issued against them dismissed, and that would obviously need to be heard first before any kind of private prosecution gets underway, that today then will just be a matter of postponing the issue until there's such a time a pronouncement has been made on whether or not this matter will go ahead. If Downer and Maughan are granted then that application to have the summons dismissed. Recalling then, Michelle, that the pair have described this as an abuse of process, and that the former president in particular is targeting Karyn Maughan and trying to intimidate her for the coverage that she's been giving during this arms deal trial. And so the pair have also argued that there's no such thing, that they've unlawfully leaked those medical records. One, because there was no request for confidentiality, and those papers and those medical records, parts of it are redacted. It doesn't give the details or the nature of the condition currently faced by the former president, and just actually highlight that he suffered a traumatic injury, and by so doing then, and they were attached to the court papers that were deposed as well to this court. So on that basis, they believe that this is nothing but a witch hunt against the two, and especially with Billy Downer, because you'll know that he successfully prosecuted Shabir Sheikh in 2005, and so he has a lot of institutional memory then when it comes to the arms deal trial.
And Ziyanda, let's not forget that this case is linked somewhat, right, to Zuma's private prosecution of President Cyril Ramaphosa. That case has been postponed to the 26th of May, if my memory serves. But how does what happens in court today impact that issue?
Yeah, Michelle, everything is essentially cascading from the arms deal trial, which you'll know on Monday has now been postponed to the 17th of April because there's a new judge, and after Judge Pitkun recused himself, and now Judge Nkosinathi clearly is taken over. Then you'll know that the private prosecution emanated from the fact that when former President Jacob Zuma was seeking a postponement of the arms deal trial while he dealt with his health matters, then Karyn Maughan reported on the medical records, and whether or not then at the time also it could be linked to the former president's condition at the Escort Correctional facility.
Yeah.
Then after that, as a result of that, the former president is now seeking to privately prosecute President Cyril Ramaphosa, saying that he is an accessory after the fact because he failed to intervene in the matter of then Maughan and Downer allegedly unlawfully leaking his medical records, saying they violated the NPA Act. The former president wrote to Cyril Ramaphosa on the 26th of August in 2021, highlighting these issues, seeking intervention, and the president then wrote back to say he will now hand it over to the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Ronald Lamola, as well as then speaking to the Legal Practitioners Council, which are some of the avenues through which then this matter will be dealt with. So even in that particular matter, the former president has been accused of abusing court processes, and in the case of President Ramaphosa, of really trying to achieve political ends, having those summons issued on the eve of the 55th National Conference in December last year.
Yeah, Ziyanda, to put it plainly, our viewers would be forgiven for losing track of all of these moving parts, right? Do we even need to ask the question around when the arms deal trial itself gets underway?
So, I mean, we're expecting that the arms deal trial will get underway on the 17th of April. You recall on Monday I was also at this very court after Judge Pietgun recused himself. But again on the 17th of April, you know, we're told that it's likely to be housekeeping issues. So it's not as if when the matter resumes on the 17th that the first witness will actually take the stand. And we understand that, you know, there's going to be issues of now finalizing the list and also the new judge fully appraising themselves. And these two matters, the one of the private prosecution against Billy Downer and Karyn Maughan and the arms deal trial, are now intricately linked, because now that Billy Downer is an accused in this matter of the private prosecution, former President Jacob Zuma's lawyers are saying, well, actually, how can you have an accused presiding over the arms deal trial? So we're anticipating that in April, when the arms deal trial actually resumes, that there'll be a fresh attempt now to remove Billy Downer from the case. And some critics have also asked the NPA, is it worth it, having these delays if you can just actually get another prosecutor to oversee the matter and have Billy Downer there as some sort of, consultant. But the NPA has consistently maintained that this would set the wrong precedent, that if somebody doesn't like the prosecutor who would be working on a matter, that they can simply just request that they be recused, even through the formal processes of a recusal application, a special plea application, that the courts have denied this, that the NPA just simply rolls over and grants them this request.
Right. Ziyanda and Ngcobo, live to us there at the High Court in Pietermaritzburg. Thanks for keeping an eye on all of those moving parts for us this morning.